Well, welcome back to Gopher's Workshop. I'm your host, Aaron, and joining me, as always, is my fellow host, Chris.
It's me.
And the Sky.
I didn't get any sleep. What kind of lucid dream is this?
What? I'm done. Podcast over.
We've made 30 seconds in and Aaron's already done.
I'm done. Right. Quit.
It's just us. We're doing it.
All right, no editing. Let's go, Chris.
Oh, God. All right. Well, today, on a morbid note, we're going to do another Codex review. Chris, you want to tell us who we're reviewing today?
Today, we're going to do World Eaters. And stay tuned. Next week, we're going to do Death Guard.
Both morbid and disgusting.
Maybe to you.
It's not World Wetters. I thought it was like a spring break action.
They've grown up a little past that. Not much, but enough.
Oh, gosh. All right. Well, do you want to tell us a little bit about our Codex review?
Absolutely. So we're going to start with, they got a brand new model, Ye Olde Slaughterbound. And basically he's an apothecary, right? That he can only lead two different units, 8-bound and Exalted 8-bound, which means competitively as an apothecary, he's bringing back at least a 50-point model, right? If it's Exalted 8-bound, it's like 60 something, almost 70-point model. That's pretty good. Also, those units aren't bad. So the fact that they're that many points is like reasonable and relevant. Slaughterbound guys is pretty solid. I know a lot of people who like, I don't want to say are new to the game, but let's say don't know the lore super well. They just enjoy the game, which is totally fine and reasonable. Probably don't understand why Angry World Eaters faction gets an apothecary. Well, we're going to start with a little bit of lore time. This is the most lore accurate model I'm going to argue in the that they've done in quite a while, and especially in this codex. Yes, Angron looks like he's supposed to look, and Berserkers are real. Like, I'm not saying nothing is lore accurate, but
Berserkers are made up myth.
they're not, right? Like, there's the whole, nails and in the skull and whatever, it make them go crazy and angry, and that's fine. But in the books, I think it's the Betrayer. I don't know that for 100%, but I think that's true. It talks about Angron before he goes crazy to the butcher's nails. And it turns out he's in this like gladiatorial ring and blah, blah, blah. What is really interesting is by design from the Emperor, I'm pretty sure he was supposed to be the apothecary Primarch. He when he was in this gladiatorial ring, all the people around him were suffering from the nails and whatever else. And he was too, it's not that it was like a walk in the park for him, but as a Primarch, he was able to kind of fight against the forces of the nails for a little bit longer. And he didn't fall to corruption as quickly and blah, blah, blah. But he was actively doing the apothecary thing, even while he was in that thing suffering. He cared about the people around him, and he took the pain and suffering from their nails, from them into him in order to let them sleep and get some rest before they had to go and fight the next day. And, life sucks. So this is all before the Emperor found him, but he by design was supposed to be an apothecary. So not only is it kind of ironic, right? That the one guy who cared about other people, in caring about other people, it made him go crazy, even though he probably could have fought off the, effect of the nails much longer, maybe forever. The fact that he was taking on more pain from the other nails of the people around him is part of what made him go crazy and angry. Sad story, good times, but also again, this Slaughterbound Slaughterbound being an apothecary is extremely lore accurate. And I gotta say is as much as people are upset on Reddit, because Reddit's always upset about they didn't get more more different units, or we didn't get more releases. They'll probably get more in the future. This is all we get for now. Sure, that's not as exciting as it could be, but boy howdy, is the thing they gave us fun and fluffy and good competitively, and they kind of nailed this, if we're going to be honest.
So hold on.
Nailed it.
Yeah. See what I did?
Yeah. So wait. So instead of his name being Angron, should it have been like Caregron?
You know what? Like, I don't know why they named the things that they named them, right? Maybe it's Gothic, whatever, something about apothecary because they both start with A. I don't know. But
I think his magic card counterpart should have been like Angron, Hateful Caregiver.
Sure, why not? But again, this is all extremely lore accurate, and I actually kind of love the Slaughterbound. I'm not saying he's like the greatest thing in the Codex. He's actually really good. But the fact that they, out of nowhere, kind of did a lore accurate thing that a majority of people, including, let's say, at least a third of actual World Eater players, probably don't recognize how lore accurate it is. I really appreciate this guy.
So, in your opinion, is he an auto take?
So it depends on the detachment you're playing and how many 8-bound, but the reality is no, I don't think he's an auto take. He is very good. If you take him, no one's going to bat an eye. Do you take 3 of him? No. But also, he's very good, right? And I'm going to preface all of this with according to the internet, not Reddit, there is some point changes coming. So some of this is based upon like the current points that are technically not accurate because we're going to get some changes. The only thing we kind of know for sure is I'm fairly confident in the point changes we're going to see to Angron himself. So I'm going to go off that new number. Everything else I'm going to assume is what's currently in the Codex, which is admittedly might be true, might be adjusted already. We'll find out. But again, do I think he's an auto-include? He's not so good. You're going to spam 3 of them and he goes in every list. But again, he's very solid. I'm happy with him. So speaking of happy with him, we'll go to the opposite of that, Reddit. I got every Codex review. I just get to hate on Reddit. It's so easy to do because they're always wrong. So Reddit has, again, made some mistakes, and this is out of assumption. Some of these mistakes are extremely obvious, right? Like we saw a couple of leaks, did not have the whole picture. They made up their mind on something, and now they're sticking to it even after we got the rest of the leaks that prove them wrong. Cool. That's Reddit. We know them. We hate them. They're the best. So, the most obvious example of this, right, is they saw the new blood table, which is you roll some dice and get some cool abilities for the battle round, and you roll some more dice in the next turn and get some different abilities potentially. That table that is part of their faction ability lost the +2 inches of move as well as some other things. Sure, let's cry about it. That sucks. Also, that's not actually true at all. Basically, every data sheet that would want the +2 inches of move got it baked directly into the data sheet. So we didn't lose it. We actually guaranteed it because we no longer have to roll for it, but we still get to choose 2 things off the table. So we get that as if index guaranteed, and then another thing in its place. Objectively, a straight buff. There's no debuff because, we lost the +2 inch move. Like direct buff. Everyone got it. Anyone, like a 7-inch move, Terminators, 8-inch move, Berserkers, like just across the board. If you wanted the 2 inches, you got the 2 inches. Absolute buff. But again, Reddit saw part of the things, decided that it was getting nerfed and World Eaters are bad, and they're still on that train. They're still wrong. It's fine. Moving on. So there's some other things we lost, like Advance and Charge is no longer on the table, so you can't give it out army-wide, but it turns out we get it in strats and abilities, so it's still there, just less prevalent. Technically a nerf. It's fine. Angron did technically get nerfed-ish, so he is not as good as he used to be. However, he is going to end up being like 50 points cheaper. Sounds like a fair trade. The reality is, I don't think he actually changed all that much. The main difference here is his comeback to life ability got nerfed. So instead of coming back full health, he comes back with only a set number of wounds. When he comes back, instead of just having to roll high, now you have to roll high and give up your other abilities on the table for a turn. It's fine. It is technically worse, but again, for 50 points cheaper, are those really that bad? There's some games where you didn't even like bring them back to begin with, just because you didn't roll high enough. Well, now I get a whole unit of like Goremongers or Jackals or whatever else in place. That's guaranteed good stuff instead of I hope I roll well and I paid the points for what if I did. It's fine.
It seems like a pretty simple shift in gameplay. It's
You're
not
right.
really changing. It's just the method slightly changed.
Correct. And what happens a lot of times, especially on Reddit, is like they look at their max potential. So like the fact that he lost the ability to come back at full health, to come back like multiple times in a game, his max potential has gone down. But the reality is like the minimum potential, right? Because we're like, those 50 points guarantee us a whole nother unit for the most part, or half a unit we actually care about. No, but our minimum potential is way higher. We're just better, right? So that's how I feel about it. Obviously, the max potential did go down. We can't really argue that fair. But when your minimum potential goes up, you're just more consistent. You're more balanced. It's just better. I think this is fine. One of the things I kind of want to bring up, because it's funny and I love to hate on Reddit, is in the previous Emperor's Children Codex, like they talked about the Demon Prince with wings doing mortal wounds on the charge. It's the greatest thing, spam. Like that's our only answer. Well, it turns out the World Eaters Codex has that in a slightly different way. Still Demon Prince with wings, but now you get to do mortal wounds when you fly over something instead of when you charge it. Well, that
sounds good to me.
Right. It sounds so close to the same. And while it is technically different, right? Like you can make the argument of doing mortal wounds on the charge is better because like turn one, at least, I can move up, didn't fly over anything, charge and still get my mortal wounds. Well, you're right. That is technically better in that scenario. But in other scenarios, I get to fly over with 3 Demon Princes with wings, do mortal wounds and absolutely crack a can open of a rhino or whatever else, and then charge the thing inside and still murder that. Now I get to do like multiple targets worth of damage instead of I have to charge it and I'm really only killing the one thing. I would argue, yes, different, effectively equivalent, but Reddit has not brought these guys up at all. They're like, it's almost equivalent, slightly different. And instead of saying spam this is the best answer in the codex, they're just glossing right over it and saying like, nah, it's not that good. It's fine. Like Reddit itself is even inconsistent with its own like idea of what's good. God, I hate Reddit. Anyway. So the reality is this codex does have a ton of new stuff though. So getting away from Reddit, actually looking at the codex, right? We are talking massive reworks. What you know about World Eaters Index and what World Eaters Codex are, yes, they're still a melee faction. Yes, they still have berserkers with blood surge. Like, I get it. But the reality is the massive reworks across multiple units and all the different kinds of detachments that encourage different things. This is borderline a brand new faction. This is so good. If I was a World Eaters player, there's so much new stuff here. I'm going to argue I could not be happier. Why? Because like as much as things have changed and I was used to this thing, what are they going to give me? The same thing I had before? I'm going to keep using the index detachment and then be bored for the next 6 months? No, this is way better. It's still good. It's still powerful. They're awesome. But also it's in such a new way that it's like fun and interesting and I get to explore new stuff. To me, like Reddit's opinion of this codex and the reality of its actual strength reminds me almost identical to the Custodes Codex when it came out. If you remember way back then, basically the whole internet said they got nerfed, they lost their playstyle. Yes, the playstyle shifted, but like they believed Custodes was just run into the ground by the codex. It's awful. And then what actually happened? Well, most of the meta players or whatever you want to call them left custodes and went elsewhere, and all the actual custode players stuck with them. And they took a few months to kind of figure the codex out and figure out what's good and work their way through that. But then with next to no point changes and next to no erratas, out of nowhere, custodes started doing good. And then all those players that kind of were like, oh, wait, custodes are good, and they like jump between factions, they came back to custodes and realized how good they were. And then now there was, with very few changes, if any, custodes were on top, like the number one faction for a while. They're still good. I'm not saying they're number one anymore, but they're still good, right? And that's with almost no changes. So if we can get past GW change their play style slightly, and you have to like actually put thought into it again, which actual World Eater players are going to love and all the bandwagoners are going to hate. It turns out this codex that everyone says is awful is actually awesome. I cannot explain that enough.
I don't even like World Eaters for reasons lore and personal, but I kind of want to experiment with this. It looks super fun.
Right. We're both like melee marine-ish players, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like this is right up our alley. And well, God save the Emperor. That's heresy. But anyway, like it's actually really good. It looks really fun, right? Yep. There's some weird things about this that obviously like some people are going to bitch about, but like the reality isn't that way. So basically everything in this codex shooting wise, right? They're too angry to aim. So all of their ballistic skills dropped from 3 up because they're Marines to 4 ups, right? Well, that sounds like it sucks. It doesn't. Everything, and I mean almost everything. There's a couple of las cannons, and havoc launchers. Those are the 2. That's it. Everything else gained rapid fire.
Yep.
And kind of at a ridiculous number on so many of them. So like, the reality is, yes, now we're only hitting on 4s, and that kind of sucks, but that's not that bad, right? It makes sense lore-wise, and I'm fine with it. Then we gain this rapid fire. Well, what does that actually mean for our shooting? It turns out our average hits and damage output went up, as well as our maximum potential to spike went up. It's crazy. Like, there's so many data sheets, and we'll go over a few of them later when we go over like my favorites and least favorites, but as an example, there are like the Predator Destructor. This is a thing that almost no Marine player is going to take, but all of a sudden in World Eaters, you're like, oh, well, this one only hits on 4s instead of 3s. That makes it worse, right? No. It has rapid fire 6. And because of its rapid fire range, right? It starts with 4 shots. And almost the majority of things in the game, right? When you go rapid fire, jealous. It's like the same number of shots, or it's like half the number of shots because it's like a minor bonus. No, it's 4 shots, rapid fire 6. There is in no world regular Marines hitting on 3s with like rerolls from Oath. They could hit all 4 times and wound all 4 times. And look, we spiked, we did it. No, the average for World Eaters hitting on 4s without rerolls is like, I can keep up with that. It's so good. It's crazy.
The average of that is more than Sustain 2.
Well, there goes. Say that,
there's the orc.
Reddit's going to get it banned. Good job.
Yeah, well, especially if you're hitting force base. Yeah, it.
Right.
I want to say something about that because as the orc chargy player, I think obviously Reddit's kind of going too far as usual. But the thing is that I play orcs, advance and charge for a couple turns, and then it's gone. And then if anything's alive, you still want to charge stuff, right? But my base move is 6. I don't think people realize that just saying, okay, now you move 2 extra inches by default, just doing regular move, shoot, and then charge when you're already midfield is no big deal. You're already going to be close to everything by that. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
You only need the advance and charge for like the critical, like opening pieces hitting stuff, or the counter charges on turn 2. You don't need it for everything.
You're right. And that, as you're saying, like also applies with World Eaters, right? Like the fact that my advance and charge, I can't roll every turn on the table. is that really that bad? Like, I stratagem the one unit that's like, I really need that extra movement for like turn 1 or turn 2. And then after that, like, I was already good.
Well, I think they wanted to change it to being a little more thoughtful, not just press W and go. Now you have to actually do some gameplay stuff, but they still have the same concepts there. My thing is that just move and shoot and charge, no advance, is so much more efficient, even without the shooting buffs they got. Right. And I don't think that people are realizing that that's true. Save your CP, reroll your charge. It's 12 inches. Like, come on.
Right. And the fact that they baked in the plus 2 inches of move to so many things, it's like it's objectively more consistent, right? It's not like, well, I have to roll good on the advance to make this charge. And then now that I've declared the advance, I can't even shoot my guns. Like, no, it's baked in. You don't have to advance. You always get the 2 inches of move. You don't have to roll for it anymore. It's just more consistent all the time.
Which I'm sure there's some enhancement or stratagem to buff charging or your range, like add 2 to something, probably.
Correct. So on the table now, there's it's the easiest one to get, I think. You can just get reroll charges. So now you have the baked in 2-inch move all the time. You get like a melee buff because you probably roll one of them on the table, since most of the table's a melee buff. And then I rolled terrible on everything else. Doesn't matter. I guess I'll just take reroll charges. And now, again, you are objectively more consistent. Reroll charges across the whole faction in a melee faction. You realize that's like 4 extra CP a turn.
So I don't know if people realize this, but charges are on a bell curve.
Yep.
Because it's like BattleTech rules for all you cross-platform nerds out there. But the idea is that 6, 7, 8 on 2d6, those are your averages. It's the peak of the bell, right? Rolling 2 1s or rolling 2 6s is like not likely. So the idea is if you get within 7, you're probably going to make it. If you have rerolls and you're within 7 or 8, because 8's still part of the top of the bell curve, it's almost guaranteed 8. So you're saying that
I would say 7
all these units
is almost guaranteed with a reroll, but yeah, fair, right? There's times where that's not going to be true, but
you're saying you move 8 and you can probably charge 8, or let's say like just under 8 inches, so you get 7, whatever. But that's a real friggin' that's a 16-inch threat range of like very likely with infantry units that go through walls. How you don't control the midboard if you're picking your fights, I don't understand. You don't need advance and charge for that.
Yep. And the only reason, like, again, Reddit's looking at maximum potential, right? The only reason they want these things is because they want to like claim no, but look, turn 1, I go first. I still get to make like 3 charges. Look how great I am. It's like, yeah, but
they want to overpressure,
right?
They want to. They want to say
you're not standing on circles. You're not doing anything that makes sense. You're just showing off. You don't need it.
GW is trying to make it look more like a strategy game here instead of I turn 1, charge and killed everything. They don't want that. They know that's a bad experience for people. I'm sure the World Eaters players like it. When you're on the upswing side of getting tabled or tabling someone, it feels all cool and powerful. But the reality is that like it's not very interesting gameplay, you know?
Right. And it's not a good way to get repeat games, right? Like if I was playing old Blood Angels or old World Eaters, and I built my list to like scout everything and then charge everything turn 1, and I killed half their list and they couldn't leave their deployment zone. That might seem kind of flashy and I get to show off, but what really happens is everyone who plays against me says that my faction's broken, and then my points go up for no reason. Well, not for no reason, but like because we're having less fun gameplay. And then I stop getting people to accept games with me. Who here wins? The answer is no one. Now we're doing this like charge counter charge thing over the midfield. We're both standing on circles. Well, now we have a fun, interesting game, and we're both having a good time. I get to play against people. They're not mad about rematching me. Like this is better for everyone. Yes, my maximum potential is down, but who cares?
I also want to throw out there that this also makes sense lore accuracy wise, because the Blood Angels got their update and they're very aggressive now.
Yep.
But now the World Eaters are 10 times more aggressive. Yeah, that makes sense. That's lore accurate.
And again, they are faster, right? Because they're like full tilt running. So their base move is faster, but they're not so much faster that these guys on foot somehow are outrunning the jump pack guys who have crazy mechanical advantage, right?
Yep.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong here.
No.
So a couple of things I wanted to mention in the what's new stuff. There's obviously, like I said, massive reworks. Shooting as a whole has changed. I would argue we are a balanced faction now, because it's not just who cares about shooting, it's only pistols. Press W, right? Like we're getting real shooting options so we can build more balanced lists. Hooray! This is the greatest. One of the things that I think is noteworthy that has changed, so it's not only important for World Eaters players to know, but this change affects basically everyone playing against them because it changes their play style. The Master of Execution lost fights first.
Yes.
Okay, so this faction is no longer a fights first spamming, you have to take precision to deal with them sort of thing on if you're a melee faction, because that's how I used to deal with them as a melee faction, is like, no, I charge things, right? But then the one thing I can't charge is basically a World Eaters list because everything has fights first. So I felt obligated to take some precision. No longer the case. They still have access to some fight first. There's a little bit splashed in here. It's reasonable. It's a big change because it changes how opponents are viewing the faction as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go on a mid-break and then we'll get to my least favorites and favorites of the Codex. Basically the highlights that I think are worth noting as you start to explore this Codex or start to explore going against this Codex.
Well, here we are in the middle of the episode. And the first thing we have to do is, of course, thank our lovely patron. So thank you to our White Shield Guardsman patron, Mitch. Big shout out to Mitch. Day one supporter.
Yep. And we're actually going to, by his suggestion, he suggested we review some like meme lists and kind of go over some of the goofy things you can do in the game right now. Just for kind of, joke or entertainment value. We're going to include some of his lists as soon as we get them from him in a future episode to just kind of go over some of the crazy stuff that technically the rules allow. Not necessarily that you should, but you could do.
Oh, we're going to teach people how to get bad at Warhammer.
Hell yeah.
I thought we were supposed to teach people how to be good at Warhammer.
Well, sometimes in order to teach people how to be good, you have to teach them how to be bad so that they know what to avoid.
You're right.
We're going to do some memes.
Well, thank you to our patrons and also thank you to our listeners, because without you, we wouldn't have a show. So we appreciate you. So with that being said, mid-break, what do we got?
So we got some spoilers coming out for Knights, the old Knight Defender.
Ooh.
There's a lot of speculation right now. We basically just have an image, right? We don't have data sheet or points or even abilities on what he's going to do, but we know by the description that he's got a little void generator on top instead of an extra gun. He's got a conversion beamer, which is pretty cool looking. They announced that there's basically going to be 2 different kits for that size knight because he's a bigger knight. So I have one with most of the builds and then a second one with the Defender and at least the Canis Rex with little guy as a separate kit. Maybe there'll be more stuff in there so you can build more than just those 2 guys, but pretty cool looking. Obviously, it's just speculation. We have no idea what the actual generator does, whether it gives him a better invul, which is presumably true, whether it gives other people, benefits. And we don't know if that's going to affect like other big knights or only little knights, or could be a ton of things. We got to wait to find out. But We know that he's going to be a little tougher than the rest, not only with the name Defender, but the fact that he has a Void Shield generator on him instead of gun.
And he's got some giant guns.
Yep. It's super cool looking. Honestly, this edition, I think, especially as like a knight player, right, who's playing a little more defensive, and you have your little knights go up, even some of your big knights go up, if they're more melee oriented, but you're going to have something that kind of stays back. The fact that we don't really have a good answer for that, and now you have something with, conversion beamer that isn't Forge World, that's going to be reasonably priced dollar-wise, and now you get some cool benefits for shooting farther away, so you don't feel bad with him staying farther back and not getting melee. This is going to be pretty solid for him, but again, we'll find out what his price is, both monies and points-wise, later on down the road. And we'll see how cool that ability is. In addition to that news, we've whenever he goes up for pre-order, as well as many other things, you can always go to our website, gophermafia.com.
It's in the show notes.
All sorts of cool stuff. Yep. And right now, since we're talking about World Eaters, we actually still have plenty of World Eater combat patrols in the shop. So if you want to pick some of those up as we're talking about World Eaters, I got them for you, 15% off. And we ship anywhere in the U.S., including some not U.S. places. But
I'm just saying, 50% off GW all the time. Can't beat it. It's so good. All right.
It's too good.
It's not. Good. It's not. It's never too good for the people that we love. Get out of here, Sky.
Okay, I'm not giving you the discount anymore.
But why?
Just you.
All right. Well, if that's it, let's head to the last part of our episode. Well, here we are at the last part of the episode, the final stretch, if you will, of the good. And apparently some of the bad, Chris, some of your personal bad.
So it's not that it's bad necessarily. Okay, some of these are actually objectively bad, and I'll go over those. But
we call them,
we're basically.
What's up? Call them bad blood units.
Absolutely. We're going to go over some of my least favorite things. It's not that these couldn't be played, but some of them I think are just kind of memey and currently not pointed right, and maybe less synergistic than the rest of the stuff. So these are kind of be wary of this stuff. We'll start with a couple of units, I guess. Hellbrute technically got better. His ability that allows him to, if taking multiple melee weapons, you get the bonus attacks on them. Makes sense. It's logical. He's better. Also, he's still kind of bad. He's given all the other things we got access to. He's just not quite keeping up with the rest of them in melee. He's not quite keeping up with the rest of them in shooting. His points are a little high. Maybe he gets better later, but for the time being, he got better. But also, I don't know that he got better enough. Forge Fiend is probably the worst thing in the Codex right now. Obviously, if you make anything cheap enough, it's playable. But with the changes to shooting in the Codex, so he goes down to Ballistic Seal 4, but he gains rapid fire on some stuff. He should be an acceptable unit, given the way things are going. But the reality is his ability is overly restrictive. He gets reroll hits. Well, that sounds good for a shooting unit, except for you have to be within 18-inch range. Okay, well, that's kind of where you wanted to be anyway because of rapid fire, but now it has to be within 18 and the closest. God, that's rough. It's overly restrictive for kind of no reason, right? If you said the closest unit, why did we also have to say 18? I'm giving up my rapid fire and I'm only shooting at the closest, but I get reroll hits at least, so he's not terrible. No, he's just, overall,
that means you can't split shots either, right?
Correct. Right. So again, if we said only closest, like the other Forge Fiends, that's fine. Why we out of nowhere included the 18 inches makes no sense to me. Like, you're already giving up rapid fire, which arguably you really need because you went down to Ballistic Steel 4. But like, I don't know why. It's overly restrictive. It doesn't, I don't know. The only thing I guess I can say is it really encourages people to play in the rapid fire, which they were already encouraged to do. I don't know why it's so restrictive. He is technically more expensive than other Forge Fiends, not by much, but like, because he's technically more expensive, at least for now, he probably goes down in points. The restriction just feels like overkill. So he's probably the worst thing in the Codex.
Now, if we got rid of the restriction, would he still be?
I think he becomes more playable, right? Like right now, I think he's the worst because he's too expensive with bonus restriction for no reason. I don't love him. If they get rid of the restriction, it's still based upon how expensive is he? Should he be more expensive than the others? Maybe not. I don't know. But I don't think they're going to get rid of the restriction. I think what happens is it's way easier to adjust points. I think they just lower points until there's a restriction, but at like 40 points cheaper than everyone else's Forge Fiends. Can I argue? Like, I don't know. Again, it's not that he's untakeable. A single point change, if enough, makes anything playable. But for the time being, he's probably the worst. And again, I'm saying that knowing that like Helldrakes are in here. Helldrakes are not very playable. But again, with the change to hitting on 4s, but gain rapid fire and like, if appropriately pointed, anything's playable. Like, I don't know. It's my least favorite for sure. Getting away from data sheets, we get to go to the detachments. There's a couple in here that I'm going to kind of give my opinion on. Obviously, it's not saying that they're unplayable. It just means that I don't know competitively that they're the right choice. We're going to start with the Cult of Blood, which makes Jackals and Goremongers, so cultist-style units, battle line. And basically, this whole detachment is trying to buff these cultist-style units. There are a few things that like encourage you to play monsters. You're playing demon princes and stuff like that too, to kind of back them up. It's not that this detachment's unplayable, but to me, this just kind of seems like a meme. The whole thing is trying to make this utility unit that's whole job is to score points and never deal damage, try to deal enough damage to be playable. It's a stretch. You want to play a meme? You want to play Horde to where if your opponent's playing 2 elitists, they don't have enough dice and you win because they don't have enough dice? Yes, it's playable. Your average list, like your normal Space Marine player, your normal, hell, even kind of Custodes player, right? Like Eldar, they're going to have enough dice. I don't think this is good enough. Moving on, we've got the Slaughter Band, and this is the one that Reddit's going to try to vilify me for. Basically, all of the internet says, but, you know, Index, Slaughterbound, or not Slaughterbound, 8-bound were the greatest. And now, new Codex, they're bitching about the Codex, and they're trying to force the Codex to be the same as Index. So they're going to say, but 8-bound are the only answer. Play more 8-bound. Well, this is that detachment, right? It says 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound, Slaughterbound. They're the only thing you care about. Play more. Yes, you can do this. Yes, this is playable. But also, you're trying to force a thing that basically this whole codex is not stopping you from doing, but is trying to discourage you from spamming. I don't think this is competitively viable. Is it playable? You already have a mountain of 8-bound to play. Yes, you can do this thing, and it's going to look scary. But the reality is, compared to the others, I'm not sure this is as scary as them, right? Like, the whole codex is actively saying, hey, we have these sweet models. You should play some of them. They should be supplementary to what it is you're doing. But if you try to hard spam them, we'll let you. Here's your detachment. But we don't want that. I don't think this is the right answer. So moving on to some of my favorites, though, Since we're already
good
on
stuff.
Yeah, we're already on detachments. I'll start here. There's a couple of things that I think are good, like great. And then I've got some spicy takes. So we're going to start with a Berserk Warband or Berserker Warband. This is effectively the Blood Angels detachment where you get bonuses to the charge, on the charge to strengthen attacks. The detachment is identical. Oh yeah, it's good.
Oh no.
Right? So like keeping in mind that they're not as fast as Blood Angels, but they're basically as fast, right? Because they're like 8-inch move instead of 12, but they get reroll charges and there's other bonuses they get to the charge because their whole table that they get as a faction rule is, lethal hits or sustained hits or dev wounds on infantry or like, oh boy, this is probably what you're going to see at tournaments for a while. Enhancements are pretty solid. No complaints. Sounds great. The stratagems are overall really solid. There's like only one that's 2 CP. And I got to be honest, it's reasonable that it's 2 CP, I suppose. But like, I don't even know that I'm going to use it. There's several other stratagems that are just kind of like, I'd rather use those. This detachment is where it's at, man. It's super good. So if you're playing against World Eaters and you want to do just a touch of research to kind of see what's coming, I would make the assumption this is the detachment they're using. If they use something else, researching this detachment gives you a solid idea of what they're trying to do anyway. It's fine. This is pretty solid. So now my hot take that I think is going to be played by some people, and I'm going to argue those people are geniuses, right? It's so good, but also it is not what you were expecting. Because we're getting them in all of the Snowflake chapters for Chaos Space Marines, there's a detachment where you get to use demons. And again, we lost access to regular Chaos demons, but they have some special demon data sheets in this codex that you are allowed to take if you're taking this detachment. And what's interesting about this is it's actually arguably kind of restrictive compared to some of the others that we've seen in Emperor's Children and Death Guard. But basically you have to kill units. And then after you kill units, you get some points. They call them blood tithe points. And then you can spend those points to gain abilities for your faction. Okay, well, those abilities last until the end of the game. So like I got to kill some stuff. I got to spend some points. And now for the rest of the game, I gain this benefit. And there's 4 different abilities of varying point costs. So like one's really cheap at 2 points where you get Feel No Pain, but it's only against like psychic attacks and mortal wounds. So it's like not bad, but it's cheap. So that's fine. And there's some expensive ones that are like 5 points. So you're going to have to kill at least 5 units. And then basically all of your World Eater stuff gains the benefits that all your non-World Eater stuff gains the benefits of the World Eaters table. It was pretty solid. I don't know that I actually need to take that, but also it'd be nice, right? So this is surprisingly restrictive. However, I think this is the spiciest tech in the Codex. And I'm going to say that because if you go against all normal convention, if you take a bunch of World Eater stuff that is shooting oriented, Predators, Land Raiders, like you just take a bunch of crazy shooting stuff that is World Eaters, and then back them up with all these demon units that are melee oriented, Bloodthirsters, things like that. I think you can actually make a surprisingly balanced list that is hyper efficient. It's like very kind of specific, right? Like you need your World Eaters to kill stuff turn 1 and turn 2 with shooting so that you can buff your demons that are charging things on turn 2 and 3 to give them extra buffs. I think this is going to be a kind of odd take, but a hilariously good take if you're willing to go against all the normal conventions of World Eaters. Enhancements are solid. Stratagems are hilariously good. There's none of them that cost 2 CP, so you have access to everything all the time. weird, wild take, but I think there's going to be a person or two, right? They're going to out of nowhere do this thing. And if they put in the practice, they're going to say, yep, you're playing against World Eaters today. And you're like, oh yeah, I know what they do. And then they're going to deploy their list and you're going to be like, okay, that seems weird. You must not know what you're doing. And then they're going to clap your little cheeks because you were not ready.
You were not ready for the shooting corn list.
Right? I'm so excited for this. Someone's going to do it. Not me. Praise the Emperor. But someone's going to do this. And this is going to be a problem for people. Okay. So moving past that, let's go to some data sheets. Let's start with the one that's relevant to that detachment. So the new Khorne Lord of Skulls, hilariously good. Should not be this good. Okay. So again, according to Reddit, because they're always wrong, they hate this unit because it went up in points. It's according to the current codex, again, could totally change. And we kind of expect it to probably, but current codex, it's like 445 points. That ain't cheap. But let me tell you how this thing is nuts. Okay. First off, it's basically a knight in melee, and like a good knight in melee. We're talking like Knight Lancer in melee, solid.
So crazy.
You're right. And the points difference from that thing,
15. 15.
Yep, very little. Okay. Well, if that's the only thing, right? Like, that's fine. It's objectively tougher. And not by like a small amount either, by the way. Like it's only 3 up armor instead of 2 up. Okay. Sure. But toughness 13. That's kind of a big deal.
13. Jeez.
You're right. Right? It's crazy. But let's just say, not pretty much. But let's just say like, no, but it's 15 points more expensive and a very expensive model. That seems okay. Well, now we haven't even got to the good part. So now we have a mountain of guns attached to this thing.
I hate this so much.
And did I mention how World Eaters got like surprisingly efficient shooting? Yeah, it turns out he's only hitting on 4s. Well, that's not great. Who cares? Bucket of dice. Okay. We are talking about, you want tank busting? You could take these 2 guns, and they are all strength 14, AP 3 or 4. One of them does flat 3 damage. The other does D6 plus 2. Oh, it's tank busting, right? You don't get very many attacks. You're wrong, son. You're wrong. Yeah, one gun does D6 with rapid fire 3. One does 2D6 at rapid fire 3. All strength 14, by the way. So 2D6 rapid fire 3, strength 14. Well, what's rapid fire? It's a 60-inch range, which means at 30 inches,
Jesus,
you're getting 2D6 plus 3, strength 14 shots. Are you kidding me?
I wish they could get that mad.
You're right. And again, I would like to point out, we are just as fighty as like a Knight Lancer. We don't have Lance, right? That's the only thing we lost. But also, I don't care. I get a whole extra attack, and I have mountain of strength 14 gun.
And your strength is 20 on the melee anyway, so you have a Lance baked in most of the time.
Okay, so to be fair, it's only strength 16.
Okay, all right. Well,
strength 16 with or without Lance, instead of I'm always winning on 2 with a Knight's Lancer. All right, you know what? Fair, you got me. I still do not care. Okay.
No.
Our average thing that we're fighting, we are basically still killing it. Okay. And that's in melee. And again, for 15 points, even if you only gave me this single 1 gun, no options, 60-inch range, 2D6, rapid fire 3, strength 14. I could not be happier to spend 15 points on anything. Also, you think you have enough tank busting? I don't know, you do. But let's just say you think you already have enough before you put this in the list. Well, there's still other guns. We could take, D6 plus 3, rapid fire 3, strength 10. We could take 12 shots, flat 12 shots of rapid fire 6, 48-inch range, strength 8, AP 2 damage. Do you want 18 power fist attacks at range? And again, it's not even like you're getting one of these guns. You're getting like 2 of them. It's kind of nuts.
Okay, this is my problem. Okay. So I put a Night Lancer on my new Blood Angels list. Nobody knows how to effectively deal with it. It is a beefy boy and it messes people up. You're telling me for 15 more points, I can put not only a Night Lancer equivalent in my list, but it actually has effective long range weaponry. Nobody's going to know how to deal with this thing.
What
not even a little
Lancer,
bit.
Yeah. What if your Night Lancer basically strapped a whole Bane blade to his hat, right? Just on top of his head. I'm going to wear this Bane blade. And then for that Bane blade, you basically paid 15 points.
Yes, that's my thing. Like Reddit's hating on this thing so much, but you have no idea. And the thing is, they hate on the Night Lancer too. I have done nothing but gone through countless amounts of Reddit posts about the Night Lancer being trash. It's like you have no idea.
But again, some of this is like, if you look at it from a single perspective, you know what? Let's just pretend they're right. There's a matchup against a faction, like where I'm only playing knights, so I already have a bunch of tough things.
Yep.
And the Night Lancer looks less impressive. But also, when you have a Night Lancer, sure, he gives up his knight ability, but you put him in another faction as support, and now you have all this reasonable backup that isn't other knights, and you get to play more than 5 models, right? Yes, Night Lancer is expensive. He takes up a bucket of points, and he's like, if they can deal with knights effectively, he's kind of scared of that. But also because he has so much reasonable support in Blood Angels or whatever else, right?
Yep.
You have access to, but I can play defensive in this one matchup because they could deal with this knight easily. And I'm going to send out my Berserkers. I'm going to send out my Sanguinary Guard. And I'm going to deal with a couple of those threats so that on turn 3, I can bring out the knight and I can just start clobbering stuff. And he doesn't have the answer to it anymore because he was like overextending his tank busting because he knew that I had the knight. And I just played around it. Well, regular knights maybe don't have access to that, right? Or the access to it is harder to play. No, this Lord of Skulls is nuts. I can absolutely, like, he has shooting so even in a turn where I'm overly aggressive with him when they could deal with him, as long as I let them walk out of cover first. And then on turn 2, I walk through buildings, which you can do now, by the way. Hell yeah. Now I walk through buildings and I get to shoot a bunch of his tank busting before his tank busting gets to shoot me. Then I'm still going to attempt to charge on turn 2, clobbering some big old tank. And now he's struggling to deal with my knight. Why? Because it's a T13 knight. And I have enough shooting to deal with some of his tank busting preemptively. This is nuts. And this is the primary example, but one of several, of why the Demonkin list totally has legs. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop creaming my jeans and move on to the next data sheet. So we have the best land raider in the game. I'm not joking when I say that. I know what I said. So the Khorne Land Raider.
It's wild.
Khorne Land Raider, out of nowhere, I would like to mention, got air quotes nerfed. Oh, we're only hitting on 4s. Well, because it's only hitting on 4s, they dropped it by 20 points. It's 20 points cheaper than its equivalent, by the way. Not just in regular Space Marines, but also Chaos Space Marines. You know what? Sure, fair. It's already got like a low number of dice because it's shooting las cannons. It went down to ballistic skill 4. That feels pretty rough. We'll drop in points. And then after that, we just upped its transport capacity to 14. Why? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, so it's a Land Raider Redeemer capacity, which, might I add, is the most expensive Land Raider. Admittedly for the Flamers, not for the transport capacity. But if we're comparing it to the Redeemer, boy, howdy, are we way undercosted. But then in addition to a transport capacity of 14, remember those las cannons that are hitting on 4s? That kind of sucks. Well, we gained rapid fire 2, which means at 24-inch range, very reasonable. I now not only have twice as many shots, which means my average hits is now above regular Imperium, even after 03 rolls. It's still above Imperium. Or worst case, maybe we round down the averages and we say we're equivalent for 20 less points. But that means, so help me if I spike absolutely a regular Space Marine Land Raider, maximum hits, maximum wounds, could never do what I could accidentally spike and do with this Land Raider.
It's so god tier.
I still think either this one's got to go up or the other Land Raiders are going down. It's just so wild.
You're right. And we talked about this the other day. There's an argument to regular Land Raiders going down in points to match this. And I'll be honest, I really hope they do. However, honest assessment, I don't know that that's going to happen. And here's why I say that. Land Raiders have not been adjusted in points very much this edition. They have been adjusted some. That's totally fine. But the last 2 points updates that they've adjusted Land Raiders, it turns out the Redeemer specifically has gone up in points. And again, that's based upon the flamers, not the transport capacity or whatever else in theory. So I'm not saying that they couldn't reduce the Land Raider, but they're not going to reduce all the variants. They're going to reduce maybe the regular Land Raider, maybe the Crusader. I hope this is an indication that when we get like Space Marine 2.0 or whatever, regular Land Raiders go up to 14 capacity. I would love that. That sounds great, especially with all the Gravis running around and things like that. I would be super happy with that. As much as that's true, I do not think we're going to see like a bunch of points drops. I think this is currently undercosted. Play the crap out of this. It's going to go up in points. But when it goes up in points, I think it only goes up 20, and it goes back to being a normal Land Raider points cost. Again, with all of these benefits, that's where I think we end up. And even when that happens, I'm telling you to play it. It's that good. You should still play it. Okay. Best Land Raider in the game right now. If they up its points to like 300 or some dumb thing, okay, you're right. It's not the best anymore. But at this moment, the best.
Still solid.
Yep.
Even then.
Okay, so you thought that wasn't good enough. Let's find some more stuff because there's more. The Defiler. Yes. The Defiler out of nowhere is my favorite. Okay, you know what? I lied. I'm absolutely in love with the Lord of Skulls. It's my second favorite datasheet in this codex. And it's because the rules were vague. All right. Defiler, reasonable tank, right? T10, 10-inch move, sounds solid, 3 up, 5 up, 14 wounds, a bucket of guns with reasonable melee. All right, sounds nice. No big deal. Nothing too crazy, but also still solid in a codex where they're saying World Eaters should shoot with vehicles. Okay, I'm already on board. Its ability says, blah, blah, blah. It can kind of move through friendly vehicles as long as they're 4 inches or less, so it's pretty mobile. That's fine. No one really cares. Second ability, at the end of your opponent's movement phase, you can select one enemy unit that was set up on the battlefield within 12 inches of this model. This model can do either, bullet point 1, shoot at this unit, but only if it's an eligible target. So free Overwatch if they set up within 12. Okay, well, that sounds neat. I don't care. I would like to point out this is an actual Overwatch though, right? Because it's still shooting at full ballistic skill. And at 12 inches away, you're guaranteed rapid fire on every gun, which is pretty good. Or the actual spicy tech, bullet point 2, declare a charge against that unit. But let me go backwards and tell you why this is vague. It says set up on the battlefield within 12. And I know where all of our heads went, right? We're like, oh yeah, if they deep strike within 12, they're probably 9 away. That's pretty good. But are you really going to make like a 9-inch charge? I don't know. Is it worth it? You should probably just shoot at them. That's not what it said. It said set up within 12. I disembarked my unit 6 inches away. I mean, actually 3 inches, I'm wholly within 3, and I'm going to charge you, or I'm going to shoot you with my eradicators, with my melta guns. No. At the end of your movement phase, before we even get to your shooting phase, I'm going to charge you. You're engaged. You don't get to shoot with that unit anymore. Oh, I see your little Votan popped out of their Hecaton land fortress. And look, you got all them scary whatevers. Let me take away your charge bonus. You don't fight first anymore. When we get to the fight phase, I'm going to swing before you. What?
That's hilarious.
This is so good. Hey, Orc player, I see all those knobs. They're pretty good. You know what's actually crazy about this? You disembarked from your transport getting set up, and then you moved. And it's your watch turn, so you moved advanced. You're about to charge. Oh, well, at the end of your movement, you didn't disembark within 12. You ended up within 12 because you advanced and charged towards me. But now at the end of your movement, you were set up on the battlefield, and you are now within 12. Let me just charge you and take away your charge bonus.
Hilarious.
Good freaking Christmas. This is nuts. Yes, you absolutely. They deep struck. They're like 9 to 12 away from you. You're probably not making the charge. Go ahead and shoot at them and kill off like 3 to 6 models. No problem. Feels good. But that's not what's the best. The fact that the wording is so vague. You can charge something, taking away charge bonuses. Hey, Blood Angels, I'm glad you still get fights first once per game, but guess what you don't get? Lance, and I'm a T10 vehicle. Ha ha. It's so good.
Why?
It's technically not fights first.
You're right. Even though it gets to fight before the thing it charged because you took away fights first. If they don't have a Judy, you can absolutely clobber half of the Blade Guard. Oh, it's Blade Guard with Calgar? Well, it's pretty good. Well, too bad you don't have fights first. I'm going to go ahead and clobber half your unit before you swing. Oh, and by the way, now that you're engaged, you don't get to shoot with Calgar shooting to kill one of my screening units or my action units that was doing sabotage or something like that, right? Like, it's so good. I cannot tell you, if you are able, as a World Eaters player, if you are able to put aside your preconceptions of what World Eaters are supposed to do and come at this codex as a just absolute baby. I've never played before. What do I do? Just read the codex and listen to it. World Eaters are hilariously good. Not in the way you expect them to be, not in the way that you're used to playing them, but they are solid. Reddit, I'm not going to say has never been more wrong, Deck of Detachment, but they are still so damn wrong. If you are a World Eaters player and you decided the internet said this is bad, so I'm going to take a break, which I have already heard from someone that they're going to go play a different faction that they already own, to be fair, because the internet says this is bad. I cannot tell you how much you have already made a mistake. Come back to this codex. This codex is amazing. Yes, it is not auto-include Angron and just spam berserkers anymore. It is not so simple your 10-year-old kid can play this faction. I acknowledge that. You have to put in more thought. But if you are willing to put in the time and effort because you are a World Eaters player, you should have never been more happy. Like, the one time I guess you get to be more happy is when they literally gave you Angron and split you out to your own faction like 2 editions ago. That's like the only time in ever that you get to be more happy than right now. And that's the codex.
This is all I got to say is come back to World Eaters.
Yep. And don't get me wrong. I will admit that there's going to be changes, right? Like, there's going to be points adjustments. So some of this is going to be still true, but less true. I kind of hope and pray as a non-World Eaters player, there's an errata to adjust the Defiler's ability because it's kind of nonsense.
It's broken.
I hope these things happen.
So broken.
I hope they actually get nerfed beyond what they claim to have been nerfed right now, because right now they're absolutely cracked.
We can have some problems, Wolf Boy. We can have some problems.
Absolutely true.
I'm hoping they carry this over for you when your codex drops in the next couple of months.
I could not pray for more. Praise be the Emperor. Give me some good Wolfie boys. But yeah, I gotta be honest, the thing that I'm actually most terrified is that Reddit will win. Not because I hate them, but because if Reddit claims that World Eaters are so bad because they got nerfed in all these ways, which is objectively not true, if GW doesn't see through their absolute lies and ignorance, I am actually very worried that they try to buff them in some way.
And it breaks the game.
Correct. And if they do that, absolutely they will rocket to the top and they will be kind of unbeatable temporarily.
They'll get banned. That's what happens. We're going to go from boycotting them to buffing them to banning them.
Correct. I joke you not. If they buff them by like even 5 or more %, why not have Glasshammer just ban the whole faction? Right? Like they're already borderline too damn good. If you buff them by even like more than just a touch, they're going to be broken objectively. And that's assuming if people actually read the rules, like Defiler isn't already absolutely nuts.
Are we ready for hobby time?
Sure are.
Hobby time.
I built more bee snaggers. Now there's more Squig Hog boys and another beast boss because I hate vehicles. Especially the Lord of Skulls now. It's fine. I'm pretty sure Mozrog will get him. It'll be all right.
And to be fair, with that T13, there aren't very many things that could. But that anti-vehicle, all right. Just ignoring the T13. Maybe you can.
Are Lord of Skulls Titanic?
Yes.
Okay, so he's going to do +2 damage.
Double yay.
That's pretty good.
It's only like 6 and 7 damage attacks. Some dev wound, anti-4 up at you. I'm sure I'll be fine. I can kill 1. But then if there's 3,
I took 2.
If there's 3, it's going to be a problem.
Just the whole list is nothing but the Lord of Skulls.
I play it.
Yes, they like not only is the model expensive enough, but like the points are expensive enough. I don't think anybody plays 3. There's going to be a guy who's memeing, right? He's going to do it because he already owns them by mistake. But also, I don't think they spam 3.
Probably not by mistake. I mean, it's all right. But also, that's a dedicated World Eaters player. So I can't be that mad. Like, when I get to play all my Killicans, I'm like, yeah, but I had to own all the Killicans. So, like, I can't be mad at that. So, anyway, I got a fun question, fluff, nonsense for you. Are you guys familiar with what a McDojo is?
No.
It's like a karate place. It's not, like, really legit, where they, like, finger wave at you and people pretend pass out. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. I've seen videos. Yes.
Okay. So my argument is that World Eaters are actually the McDojo faction. So Butcher's Nails from their planet literally describes in the arena when someone is unarmed and they just poke someone to death with their fingers. They basically like pressure point people. That's a whole fucking thing. That's the origin of the Butcher's Nails, is poking someone to death with the little fingies.
I don't. I think you jumped off the deep end.
No, this is real. I didn't even make this up. You can go look it up. And then Butcher's Nails is when they started putting like techno dreads in people's head to make them more angrier, but they named them that after the other thing. So if you want to put like some metal millipedes in your skull, it's really just to make you better at poking people to death.
What the
I can't make it up. I can't. I'm not that good. I mean, so basically, you brought it up. Butcher's nails in World Eaters is more commonly known as the little robot tendril things in their brain, which helps them get filled with rage juice or not feel good stuff. So they're extra mad. And then they're better at fighting. And then it kind of got spread all over the faction. But yeah, my point is that they literally just pressure point people to death. I don't even think they need weapons.
I want to be upset about so much of this, but the thing that's bothering me the most is your use of the word rage juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate it.
Rage juice is the thing. That's the thing you want to pinpoint all this.
I'm not sure why, but I hate it.
I hate the fact that he asked us if they were in fact a McDojo, and just sat here and explained to us how they weren't a McDojo. Like they actually can kill people with their fingies.
You're right. No, that's our guy. No, he just.
But come on. Think about it. Like, okay, Emperor's Children just came out too. Isn't it hilarious that like Lucius, the greatest swordsman, whatever, it's going to happen in your games because people are going to be playing all these Chaos Marines. Some like
apothecary comes over and smacks him to death.
No, he just like two finger pokes his eyes. Dead. 10 mortal wounds, bud. Come on. It's over.
Finger pokes him to death. I can't even.
I can only do this to you because I got dreadlocks. Bam.
So my answer to your question is no, I don't think it's a McDojo.
Also, do you think it's a coincidence that the lead singer of the band Korn has dreadlocks? Come on, put it together, people. He's a world eater.
Oh, God. Well, I guess on that note, I guess that's the end of the episode.
We're out. I've got to go process rage juice.
Go take a shower.
All right, everybody. Until next time, we will see you later.
Hey everybody, it's Aaron. I want to thank you again for tuning in for this episode of Gopher's Workshop with us, hanging out and listening. Remember, leave a 5-star review. Let us know what you think. And if you feel like supporting us, you can always go to Patreon in the show notes below. Thanks. Till next time.